Title: How to Navigate Cultural Shocks. While traveling. Picture this. You've just landed in a new country. The excitement you've felt for months is suddenly competing with a whole lot of confusion. The language is a puzzle you can't solve. The food is totally alien, and the rhythm of the streets feels like chaos. That boundless excitement is starting to curdle into overwhelm. If that sounds familiar, you're probably having your first run-in with culture shock. It's that jarring, disorienting feeling when your entire reality gets flipped upside down. But the good news is, you're not alone. And there are simple, real-world ways to turn that shock into the adventure you signed up for. I've traveled to dozens of countries and lived on 3 different continents. And let me tell you, I have had my fair share of culture shock meltdowns. I'll never forget my first long-term stay in a tiny town in southern Europe. I was completely baffled by the pace of life. Shops would just close for hours in the middle of the day. Buses seemed to run on their own mysterious schedule. Simple errands felt like epic quests. I felt isolated, irritable, and was seriously second-guessing my entire life choice. But over time, I learned how to ride those waves, and that trip transformed from a constant headache into one of the most meaningful chapters of my life. And that's what we're talking about today. This isn't just about times surviving, times culture shock. It's about learning how to times thrive, times in it. First, we'll get into what's actually going on in your brain when it's in freak-out mode. Then, I'm going to give you my personal toolkit of practical, no-nonsense tips that will help you push through the discomfort and start truly connecting with the world around you. What is culture shock? Really? So, what is culture shock? Simply put, it's the mental and emotional whiplash you feel when you're dropped into a completely unfamiliar way of life. It's a totally normal psychological response when all the invisible rules you've lived by are suddenly gone. Think about it, everything from how you greet someone, to what's for breakfast, to how you stand in line, is guided by your culture. When those rules change, your brain goes into overdrive, trying to figure out how to act. And that is exhausting. To really get a handle on it, it helps to know that culture shock usually happens in 4 stages. Now, this isn't a perfect science. You might skip a stage or bounce between them, but it's a great map for understanding what you're feeling. First up is asterisk, the honeymoon stage. Asterisk. This is that initial blast of pure fascination. Everything is new, romantic, and wonderful. The foreign language sounds like music. The weird food is an adventure. And you're charmed by every little quirk. You're thinking, this is the best decision I've ever made. I'm never leaving. On short trips, you might just live in this blissful bubble the whole time. But for longer stays, the honeymoon always ends. And that brings us to stage 2. Asterisk. The frustration stage. Asterisk. This is, hands down, the toughest part. Those little differences that were so charming a week ago are now just annoying. You might get fed up with the language barrier, feel exhausted from trying to read social cues, and get unreasonably angry that you can't find your brand of shampoo. This is where homesickness, anxiety, and loneliness kick in hard. You start putting your home country on a pedestal and wondering why on earth you left. After the frustration, you move into asterisk. The adjustment stage. Asterisk. This is the turning point. You slowly start to get your footing. You pick up a few more words. You finally figure out the bus system, and you start building a real routine. Your sense of humor comes back, and life stops feeling like a constant battle. You're not an expert by any means, but you're building a little support system and starting to feel like you actually belong. And finally, you reach asterisk. The acceptance stage. Asterisk. This doesn't mean you love every single thing about the new culture. It just means you see the differences without judging them as good or bad. They're just different. You can navigate your new world with confidence. You feel comfortable, and you found your new normal. You can appreciate both your home culture and your new one, and you've probably grown more than you ever thought possible. Asterisk, asterisk. Section 2. Your practical toolkit for navigating culture. Shock, asterisk, asterisk. Okay, so now that you can name the beast, let's talk about how to tame it. Here are my tried and true tips for navigating culture shock and making it part of the adventure. Do your homework before you go. Preparation is your superpower. Before you even pack your bags, do some research. Learn a bit about the country's history, social customs, and daily etiquette. For instance, do people tip? Is it rude to show up on time or late? How do people dress? Knowing this stuff helps set your expectations and minimizes those jarring surprises that lead to frustration. It's much harder to be shocked by something you already know is coming. Learn a few key phrases. Look, nobody expects you to be fluent, but learning just a handful of words in the local language can change everything. Simple things like, hello, thank you, excuse me, and where is the bathroom? Show respect and make you feel less like a helpless outsider. I promise, locals will appreciate the effort, no matter how badly you butcher the pronunciation, and it's a huge confidence booster. Keep a little piece of home. While you want to immerse yourself, it's also smart to have an escape hatch. When you feel overwhelmed, do something that feels familiar and comforting. Listen to your favorite podcast, watch a movie you know by heart, or cook a meal that tastes like home. Keeping some of your old routines, like a morning run or journaling, gives you a sense of stability when everything else feels chaotic. This isn't hiding, it's recharging your social battery so you can get back out there tomorrow. Stay connected, but don't cling. Calling family and friends is an essential lifeline. Talking to people who get you can be a huge comfort. But, and this is a big but, be careful you don't spend all your time living through your phone. It can actually make you feel even more homesick and keep you from being present. Find a balance. Maybe schedule one long call a week with your family, and then challenge yourself to put the phone away and engage with the world right in front of you. Swap judgment for curiosity. This is a mindset shift that is a total game changer. When you run into something that feels weird or wrong, try to pause. Instead of thinking, that's not how you're supposed to do it, ask, I wonder why they do it that way. Try to see the logic from their perspective. It reminds you that there isn't one right way to live, just different ways. This turns every frustrating moment into a potential discovery. Get out there and connect. The fastest way to stop feeling like an outsider is to become an insider, even a temporary one. Make an effort to actually meet people. Take a local cooking class, join a pickup soccer game, hit up a festival, or volunteer for a cause you care about. Not only will you understand the culture on a deeper level, but you'll start building your own community. And don't be afraid to talk to other travelers or expats. They know exactly what you're going through. Set tiny, achievable goals. When you're overwhelmed, the idea of adjusting feels massive. So, shrink the challenge. Set one small, totally doable goal for yourself each day. Today's goal: successfully order a coffee in the local language. Tomorrow's goal: take the bus to a new neighborhood by yourself. These little wins build your confidence and prove to your stressed out brain that you can do this. Be patient and kind to yourself. And finally, and this is the big one, give yourself a break. Adjusting takes time. You will have great days and awful days. You will say the wrong thing, you will get lost, and you will feel awkward. It's all part of the deal. Don't compare your journey to someone else's perfect Instagram feed. Feeling overwhelmed is a normal part of doing something this amazing. Let yourself rest when you need it. And remember that this feeling is temporary. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Culture shock isn't a sign that you failed. It's a sign that you were brave enough to step way outside your comfort zone. It's an unavoidable and, frankly, essential part of any real travel experience. The confusion and frustration are real, but they are not permanent. By preparing, staying curious, making connections, and being kind to yourself, you can move through it. Embrace the whole messy journey. The moments of discomfort are what lead to the biggest growth and the best stories. These challenges are exactly what make travel so transformative. You'll get through this, and you'll come out the other side, stronger, more resilient, and with a much bigger, richer view of the world. I would love to hear your stories. Have you ever been sideswiped by culture shock? What country were you in? And what was the one thing that really threw you for a loop? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what another traveler needs to hear right now. And of course, if you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more real-world travel advice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.